a great Saturday. I want to talk to everybody about 7K and what we're here to learn about. Plus, thank you for everything you've done for Legacy Builders, the group that's hosting this call and the largest group in the company. So very, very thrilled and honored to be here today with you. Sal gave me a wonderful introduction, but there's a little bit more to know, and that is, even though I've done very well financially in the past, and not bragging, just saying I have, but in 2020, all of that went away, and it went away in a heartbeat with COVID, literally starting January of 2020. And it's hard to believe that's 4.5 years ago, as it feels like it was yesterday. But it dropped my income so significantly that it was eye-opening. And here's why. I decided I would just live off my savings. I would just live off of my other investments, such as real estate, stuff like that. But you know what? After 2 years of this, by December of 21, I was fed up with watching, inflation skyrocket, the government print more money. I was fed up with lower, no income other than from those other sources that I mentioned. And I said, no, I got to do something about this. And like a prayer that gets answered, this company came into my being at that point. I started, and it's done very, very well for me, and vice versa ever since. So I want to thank you for being here, get my screen shared with you here for a moment, and show you why, and see if you can be in agreement with me, okay? So let me go to share screen and bring this up. There we go. Okay, so you should be looking at my screen. Hopefully you get a good view of it. And let's talk about some wealth strategies. Why do we want to talk about wealth strategies? It's because a lot of people are just working harder to get by, or like I was starting January of 2020, I wasn't getting any income, but you know what? I was watching my savings dwindle. And half of Americans are saying they cannot cover a $400 cash emergency expense. And what's important about that is, in an emergency, you need your money, right? And because of that, if you can't come up with $400 after working a lifetime, something is really wrong. And you may not be suffering from that on the call, but I guarantee you, with 50% of people doing so, you know somebody who is. And that's because prices have been going up like they skyrocket in the last couple of decades. Even groceries, this is an older slide from 2023. It's now gone over 400%, which means 4 times as expensive. Look what you can fit in just one bag. It costs almost $100 and it's a joke, but everything is going up, and that's due to inflation. And the reason inflation happens is because when you print more and more dollars, it puts a dilution in the economy, so the dollar buys less. Or another way of saying it is its purchasing power shrinks. And this is the last 110 years graph of what's happened to the purchasing power of the dollar. And one big thing that I want to point out to you is right in the middle. In 1971, Nixon closed the gold window, which meant that prior to 71, gold and silver were the true assets backing the US dollar bill. So, example of that, I have it right here, is a silver certificate saying you could trade $1 bill for 1 ounce of silver, which was tied to the dollar. At 1 ounce of silver equals $1. That's why they're called the silver dollars. But today's dollar, you don't see that on there because they are just pieces of paper. And because of that, they're called fiat currency. Fiat currency is a fancy way of saying funny money, meaning it's only backed by the government. So it just keeps going down in value. And when we started in 2020, the government went nuts and started printing more money than they ever have in the country's history. And that has not stopped. We are printing about $1 trillion every 100 days. And that is just unsustainable for the value of the dollar, and that's why central banks around the world are dumping it. So what can you do about it? Well, you can leave your money in the bank and watch it buy less year by year by year, or you can understand what happens to all fiat currencies over time. You see, the paper mark, it was, $1 trillion exchange rate. The peso in Argentina, 100 billion to one. Zimbabwe, 10 billion to one. Argentina is seeing it happen right now. These are all fiat currencies, no different than the United States. So when you lose faith in the government or its currencies, bad things happen. Well, how do you prevent that? You prevent it with gold and silver. That is sound money. Why? Because gold and silver is what backed up the US dollar, and it backed up every major currency in the world, and today it backs up none of them. So even the British pound sterling was called that because it was backed by silver, but not now. And let's look at the value of silver and gold versus the buying power of the dollar. Now, pay attention to the horizontal top line. In 1965, when 1 ounce of silver was equal to $1, if you had 2,500 of either, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang like this one, and it only cost $2,500 in full. Hard to believe, especially if you're younger. But it's people like me, I remember that, okay? And because of this, you look at 2024, and we have a couple brand new Mustangs there that actual 7K gave away just recently. And people like you or me could have a chance to earn that. How cool is that? But anyway, if you look at $2,500, you can't buy 2 brand new Mustangs. Not at all. But if you kept the same $2,500 worth of silver from 65, it has a value of $80,000 today at its current price, around $32 an ounce instead of 1. And that means you could buy 2 brand new Mustangs, not just 1, but 2 with the same amount of silver. So silver has outperformed the dollar. That's the moral of the story here. Value of the dollar goes up, down, silver goes up. Always has, and it continues to do so. Gold is exactly the same way. And we'll start out with the year 2000 when we were off the gold standard, okay? At that point in time, if you bought a median price home in America, it was $169,000 in cash, or if you had gold, 626 ounces, because it was $269 an ounce. But if you go to this year, in 2024, gold has hit $2,400 an ounce, and that's worth $1,502,000. Now, the value of a median price home has doubled in this time, and it's over $350,000 in the US today. But with this kind of money, you could buy 3 houses in cash with your gold and still have $500,000 left over. So my question is, would you rather leave your dollar just sitting in the bank going down, or would you rather have gold and silver? The obvious answer is, of course, you'd rather have gold and silver. Who wouldn't? Now, we believe things should be a whole lot easier. So you deserve a real chance, all right? Not just like the big banks. Here's a picture we took at corporate headquarters last year, and we're a diverse, energetic company, and these are some of the best leaders in the company that you're looking at, and we want to see you at the next one, because our story is we were founded in 2016 by these 4 brilliant gentlemen, all multimillionaires and one a multi-billionaire, and they have over 150 years of business experience behind them combined, as well as the fact that Roger Ball there, he founded another company about 35 years ago, maybe a little bit more, that is worth over $3 billion today and still going strong. And all of these men don't need your money. What they need is for the common person to have a chance like they did when they first started out. And they're doing that with gold and silver. Now, there's two forms of gold and silver. One is called bullion. Bullion can be in bars, like this silver bar that Sally Mary mentioned that I earned for free with this company. It's worth about $3,500 today. You could have gold coins, silver coins, rounds, bars, whatever. But now our company gets you something called fractional gold and silver as an opportunity that all the big coin sellers and bullion sellers don't have. And there's a second form called collectibles. I'll get to that in just a minute. But I want to talk about bullion because everybody believes this is a rich man's game. Why? Because normally wealthy people, rich people, are the only ones who could afford gold and silver, especially when you're looking at $2,400 an ounce. A lot of people don't have $2,400. But what if you had $24? Could you buy 100th of an ounce? No, they don't make those. So how do you get it? We do it with fractional gold and silver, and I want to have you watch a very short video that will help explain this to you.
If you're watching this video, chances are you're curious about gold and silver. You might have a few questions, like why should I buy precious metals? What metals should I be buying? Who can I trust to buy them from? How do I know I'm getting a good deal? And how can I afford more? You should know that you're not alone. Most people have these questions, and over the next few minutes, we'll introduce you to an easy solution. Most people we talk to say they have a feeling that it's a good idea to own precious metals, but really don't understand why, or how to get started, or they don't feel like they have the budget for it, so they don't do anything about it. This lack of understanding costs them a lot of money. And quite honestly, we don't want you to make the same mistakes. We've watched far too many people struggle as the economy fluctuates, employment issues arise, or unexpected changes come up in life. Owning gold and silver can help shield you against all these challenges long term. When we started 7K, we established a mission to help the average person get ahead by adding precious metals to their portfolio, no matter their knowledge or circumstances. We've already changed the precious metals industry by making it extremely easy to get started without any maximums or any minimums, period. But that's not enough. We're now completely revolutionizing the industry and making it so anyone and everyone can seamlessly start buying precious metals. It doesn't matter if you want to start with $100 or even $1. The new technology provided by our partner company, Sound Money Wallet, will allow you to convert your cash to various asset classes of fractional gold or silver quickly with no games or gimmicks. With Sound Money, you own the metals you buy, but they store them safe and sound. They offer limited capacity storage for up to $50,000 in asset value. And you'll sleep easy at night knowing that if you ever want your metals, they'll be in the mail at the drop of a hat. How? Sound Money uses a non-segregated vault at their partner company, VaultMax, to store your precious metal assets, protected by some of the most technologically advanced security out there. You can be sure your metals are safe there. If you want your metal, simply request it. Pay the shipping and insurance and it will be on the way. But what if you need cash? The old way of liquidating precious metals, including lugging a heavy box to a local dealer, hearing excuses for why they couldn't possibly match the current market value of your metals and probably ending up in a no-win situation, or contacting an online buyer with a typical $1,000 minimum only to find that the price they initially quoted you for your metal dropped significantly once they received your heavily taxed package 4 to 6 weeks later. With Sound Money, you can kiss all that headache goodbye. This is the only tool on the market with the power to give you frictionless liquidation with one of the best buyback prices in the industry. So whether you're a savvy investor who already knows the power of gold and silver and the advantage of a private vault, or you're trading your first dollar for precious metals, Sound Money will make your ownership journey convenient and easy. Be confident that control is back in your hands from start to finish. Let Sound Money Wallet work for you.
What an incredible thing. You know, nobody else has it. I hope you got that takeaway from that. And this solves the problem on how you get bullion. Now, how do you solve the problem about collectibles? Another form of gold and silver that almost nobody knows about because they've never been educated in it. They've never learned about it. But where bullion is a defensive strategy, protecting you against the drop of the value of the dollar, while it goes up when the dollar goes down, collectibles are an offensive strategy that go up even more than bullion when the price goes up. Why? Because collectibles have all of the above and more. They have incredible designs. They have historic significance or a great story behind them. They have low mintage, meaning they're very rare. And lastly, they are professionally graded by neutral, well-established grading companies that say what the condition of the coin is. And the collectibles that are in perfect shape, MS70, have the most value and the rarity, as I mentioned. What does this mean to you? Let me give you an example that has nothing to do with gold and silver, but are collectibles that follow the same pattern. Look at the comic book industry. You're talking about the amazing fantasy first appearance of Spider-Man in 1962, valued at 12 cents, meaning if you had 12 cents in 1962, you bought this magazine. But most people beat it up, threw it away, whatever. So they also didn't have that many of them, and certainly not in this 9.6 perfect, great condition. Because of that, it sold at auction a few years back for $3,600,000. And all it is paper and ink. And I'm bringing this up because a lot of people say, why should I buy collectible coins when I can just buy the bullion coins? And the answer is because bullion is mass produced and not rare and not in great shape, where the same thing happened to comics. Well, look at the Mickey Mantle baseball card from 1952. This is rookie. This is the most coveted card out there. And 9.5 is almost perfect grading. And this is so rare that while you could have got it for pennies in 1952, it sold in 23 for $12,600,000 for a little piece of cardboard with some ink on it. Okay, so don't say, why should I buy? It's like saying, what, you could buy a beat up Mickey Mantle card and it's certainly not going to sell for $12 million. I hope you get the gist. Same with postage stamps, collectible figures like Boba Fett, even Pokemon cards. So these are worth so much money compared to the base, which was mass produced. So I want to introduce you to something called the $1.2 million mistake, that this should resonate why collectibles make sense even more than bullion.
You probably made a $1.2 million mistake and didn't even know it. Let me explain. Let's start by taking a look at this chart that shows the purchasing power of the US dollar from 1913 to 2013. In 1913, a dollar was worth $1 in purchasing power. In 2013, a dollar was worth 5 cents in purchasing power, and even less now. We've seen the dollar and all currencies lose value over time. Some of this is due to inflation, but most is because of a change in 1971. In 1971, the U.S. president ended the Bretton Woods Agreement, which cut all ties to currencies that were backed by gold. All at once, all world currencies became a fiat currency, meaning they're simply backed by whatever the government says they're worth. Take this scenario as an example. Let's say you wanted to purchase a brand new Mustang in 1965. It would have cost you $2,500 or 2,500 US silver coins. The same 2,500 US dollars won't get you a car today, but those 2,500 coins would get you 2 cars. As you can see here, while the US dollar has lost its value over time, gold and silver have maintained their purchasing power. If you'd consistently purchased gold and silver bullion over the years, you would have negated inflation and maintained an average buying power. But what would have happened if you'd have bought collectible gold and silver? It begins with the MS70 Silver Eagle. MS stands for mint state. It's a grading system. An MS70 coin means the coin is in perfect condition. If you'd purchased one MS70 Silver Eagle every month since 1986, you'd be sitting on a $1.2 million portfolio, and it would have only cost you between $50,000 and $80,000. That's why we call it the $1.2 million mistake, because most people didn't buy them. What's crazy is that's what the coin the US Mint makes millions of every year. What would have happened if you focused on even more exclusive, unique, and rare modern coins? Here are a few examples of the track record for a few more unique and exclusive coins that we've offered through the years. A 2004 Tiffany art coin sold originally for around $100 with shipping and is selling in the market today for between $5,000 and $10,000. If you didn't get one, that's at least a $4,910 mistake. The Julius Caesar 7K exclusive from 2021 sold for around $360 with shipping and is selling for between $950 and $1,100 today. If you missed it, that's another $550 mistake. And here's the Montana Butterfly from the 7K Autosaver program that sold for $150 with shipping. Today, it would cost you around $1,200 to get one. That's another $1,000 or so mistake. Now sure, those are great performers, but that's a portfolio of around $10,000 with only a few coins and a fraction of the cost. With time, the power and potential of collectibles are real, and we're on a mission to help you avoid the potentially $1.2 million mistake of not adding them to your legacy.
All right, so I hope you understood that. A little bit of the beginning was stuff I'd already told you, but as you see, there's a rounded argument why you should have both bullion and collectibles. And we make it easy for you because to help you avoid this mistake, we have an optional program called the monthly autosaver. This will allow you to get these collectible coins of your choice, and you don't have to think about it. It will be sent to you via FedEx directly to your door every single month on autopilot. And when that happens, you get access to things like our savings portal for other products and services at discounts, as well as earning loyalty points every month with each of your coins that you get every month. And you can get as many as you want or as few as one. And you can trade those loyalty points for free collectible silver. I have done several thousand of that myself since I started 2.5 years ago with the company. And take a person like my friend Chris Latin, who worked full time, but joined this company almost 7.5 years ago. And in the first 4 years, he built the collection that you're looking at by starting with zero. He had no collectible coins, he had no bullion. But on the left, you're looking at collectibles, mostly from Autosaver and other coin drop purchases, which is a special privilege 7K members get, as well as the bullion on the right side. And this was worth over $650,000 at that time, and it's grown by another 3.5 years even then. He is building a legacy for his family based on real assets, not funny money. And that is something I'm hoping you'd like to do too. But if you still feel you don't want to just get into something you don't understand, we offer free training to you. We'll give you free buyer certification training telling you all about bullion from start to finish, everything you'd want to know, as well as collectibles with our collector training, including training by a world-class expert, Miles Standish, who is in the Guinness Book of Records for grading the most coins ever. And he'll talk to you about the ins and outs. So if you're that person who wants to understand everything about what you're doing, when you become a member, it's free. If you don't care, that's fine too. Just know that the history will take care of you. So with that being said, I want to now point out another way that you can beat what's going on in the economy by increasing income for yourself and your family. And to do that, I am going to introduce a very good friend of mine and someone I truly respect, not only as an entrepreneur, but a genuine, caring person who has helped literally hundreds of people, including myself, reach financial stability that they never thought they could have. And to explain how, I want to introduce you to my good friend and executive gold member, Mr. Tony Hubbard. Tony, are you there and willing to share with us?
I'm here, Scott. Can you hear me, man?
I hear you loud and clear.
All right. As always, man, it's such a pleasure to be on the platform with a professional like yourself. When most of you guys don't know, Scott Zuckman sold. He helped Robert Kiyosaki in the real estate and development arena. He sold over $100 million of real estate investment packages, from the stage. And of the several hundred people that we brought on board here, ladies and gentlemen, 14 of those individuals were already at multi-millionaire status, and Scott is one of those. And I have no doubt, because he has a heart to help the people in his space to become successful, that over the next couple of years, when they read off the list of people in this company that are earning that significant life-changing income, I have no doubt my brother Scott Zucker will be on that list. So definitely hats off to you, my brother. I look forward to your future success.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, Scott said some great things about me, and that feels good. It always does. But if all that you ever knew about me was what he said, it could be very, very misleading. Because like most of you guys, 7.5 years ago, I sat and watched a presentation similar to what you guys are seeing here today with one of my best friends on the planet. And I remember, but it was a very critical point in my life. I needed something that would work for me. So do me a favor. I like a live and interactive presentation. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever been a point in your life that you needed something that would work for you. And I took a look at the business model that we're talking about tonight, and I got involved the very same night I took a look at it, not because I understood everything, but because what they shared with me made a whole bunch of sense. See, I got involved because I understood 2 concepts. Number one, it made sense to me to purchase gold and silver at the best price. That made sense to me. But it also made sense that if someone's going to get paid whenever somebody else buys gold and silver, that somebody probably needs to be named me. And that's all I really grasped 7.5 years ago. I've since introduced a few hundred people to the concept, and I am blessed now to have a team that is tens of thousands of individuals around the world. Now, I don't share that today to impress you, but to impress upon you that if someone like myself, unlike Scott, don't have a college degree, can do this business and earn several thousand on a weekly basis, every last one of you guys here today will have that exact same opportunity. So over the next 15 to 20 minutes, let's talk about how you can build a business and earn part-time, full-time, and even life-changing income. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and let's get right into it, and let's talk about how tens of thousands of people have changed their lives for the better from the income opportunity. I mean, it's a real simple concept. Remember, Scott talked about earlier that half of Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency in their life if one arose. That's alarming to me. That means if a tire were to blow out, something happens to the washer or the dryer, and in lieu of the fact that over 50 million people in 2020 found out they were not essential employees, I'd venture to say that number is now close to 60%. So let's talk about how this company has taken care of $400 emergency for thousands of lives for the better. Now, our compensation plan is very simple, but I want you to understand there are 4 different ways that you can actually get paid. The first one is what we call, and they just introduced this a month ago, it's called instant gold pay. You heard it right, instantly. I mean, every time you introduce somebody to the team, the company's going to pay you in gold. Also, ladies and gentlemen, there is a way for you to get paid in precious metals, through a particular position. In addition to that, as you begin to build a team and you're collecting our product, we will give you loyalty points and you can get paid in collectible metal. And then last but not least, if you decide to build a team, just understand our compensation plan, one of the most lucrative in the industry, will pay you part-time, full-time, and even life-changing income. So let me share with you guys how this concept works. The first thing, let's talk about instant pay.
What is instant gold pay? It's the brand new 7K customer acquisition program that pays you directly in gold. Whenever you refer a new customer membership to 7K, we will instantly pay you either $20, $40, or $80 in fractional gold, sent to VaultMax and instantly shown on your Sound Money dashboard. We'll say that again. Instant gold. The minute your new customer referral finalizes their purchase, gold is sent directly to VaultMax on your behalf. So what's the catch? Well, you do have to have your Sound Money and VaultMax accounts properly set up first. But once that's done, there's nothing to stop you from getting out there, sharing 7K with someone new, and collecting an instant gold payment. We're ready. Are you?
So let's talk about how the compensation plan works. We have a compensation plan called a dual team system which means at the end of the day, everyone you bring on board, you will simply place them on one of two teams. Why is that important? Well, if you study the industry of home-based business or network marketing over the last 80 plus years, history has revealed to us, I don't care what the name of the company, what product you market or the service, the average person in their lifetime within your company will only sponsor 2.3 individuals. That's why the dual team system is so popular, because all you have to do to be in a position to start getting paid is to find two people that this makes sense with. You're now in a position to start getting paid. And once you bring on the first two individuals and start accumulating points, any combination of 250 points on one team, that can be your efforts or the team efforts, and 250 points on the other team, our company pays you a $250 commission. And ladies and gentlemen, that's unheard of in this space. You see, in my 20 years of network marketing, I've seen other dual team systems before, and for the same amount of work, there are companies out there paying you $10, $20, maybe $50, but in this equation, it's $250, or that same week, you can earn as much as $500. So do me a favor. I want to make sure I'm talking to the right group. Let's just say you get started today. We help you bring on your first two, and they bring on a few, and next Saturday morning, there's a $500 commission in your back office. You really don't understand how it got there. Do me a favor, put a 3 in the chat if you would cash that check and then find out later where it came from. All right, it gets better from there. What if I continue to share? I can earn even more points, and you know what? It allows you to get paid even more. Because once you reach the $500 threshold, again, we get paid on a weekly basis. You can earn anywhere from $500 up to as much as $75,000 on a weekly basis by building a team, and we'll show you how to do that. So here's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. The next question people ask, how do I get the points that will turn into my monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly commission? I'm glad you asked. I mean, no matter which package you decide to come on board with, it will come with an e-commerce site. So if somebody wants to just test this thing out, I can send my individual link to them. They can buy everything I buy with a slight retail markup. And when they check out, whatever that difference is, the company will split it with you. But if they buy anything that has points, those points go toward your commission. In addition to that, Mr. Scott Zuckman talked about putting your wealth on autopilot. You'll have 5 different days. You can set it and forget it. And not only do you get points, every time somebody in your team buys those coins, the company also gives you points every time you buy your own coin. Also, ladies and gentlemen, one of the coolest concepts they ever introduced us to is what is called a coin drop. But you'll get an email at a certain date, at a certain time of the day. They will give you access to some very rare coins. Sometimes there's a couple of thousand of them. If you're fast enough to get one on your computer, it comes with points. Sometimes there's a couple of hundred of them. If you're extremely fast, like my man Mr. Scott Zuckman to get one, it also comes with points. And then last but not least, there are other purchases, but also as you build a team, just know as the new people come on board, there will be points that will turn into your monthly, bi-weekly, or weekly commission. So how does it work, ladies and gentlemen? When you bring on your first 2 individuals, the computer promotes you to what is called an associate, and you can earn up to $500 on a weekly basis. Well, that's good start off money, but what if I need to make more than that? Real simple. Duplicate what you just did. Now you're a copper, and you can earn up to $1,000 on a weekly basis. What if I need to make more than that? What if I need to make some full-time? You guessed it. Duplicate your success again. Now you're bronze. Our bronze are earning up to $2,000 on a weekly basis. And I hope you recognize a pattern here, because one of the things I so appreciated when I first saw this compensation plan from the very beginning is that it so resembled the things that I was taught by one of my first mentors, Mr. Zig Ziglar, who said you can have everything you want out of life if you simply help enough other people get what they want out of life. And the only way one will maximize this compensation plan, this is what is known as a team build. So that means you have to help the people on both teams have your level of success in order for you to be successful. And I love that about that. But for those of you who are just sick and tired of being sick and tired, you set a goal 2 years ago. I'm going to find something, some kind of side hustle that I can earn enough money, I can fire my boss and walk away and live life on my terms. That typically starts at this rank of silver. I mean, because our silvers, ladies and gentlemen, are earning up to $3,500 a week, $14,000 a month. And you know what? I don't care where you live on the planet. That kind of income puts you in the top 10% of income earners anywhere on the planet. And the company recognized here's where the true leaders start to really emerge. So much so, they decided to put an incentive out there that has never been heard before in this space. They said, if you take your business serious from day one, we're going to give you 90 days to reach the rank of silver and earn at least $5,000. And when you do that, ladies and gentlemen, they're not going to give you a trophy. They're not going to give you a certificate. How about a 100-ounce silver bar that you see on the screen? Coincidentally, same one I'm holding in my hands right now, that's valued at about $3,500. Now, over the last 7.5 years, over 600 people have reached the rank of silver in this company. About 200 of them did it in less than 90 days. Some less than 60. And you know what? We've even helped a few get it done in less than 30 days. And because our team at Legacy Builders is responsible for helping over 100 people get their own 100-ounce silver bar, as my grandmother would oftentimes say, if you can do a thing, you can definitely teach a thing. I look forward, especially with this new enhancement in the compensation plan, to helping at least 50 more people get their own 100-ounce silver bar before the year is out. So do me a favor, put a 5 in the chat if you want to be in that next group of 50 people that we help you get your own 100-ounce silver bar. All right, we got a couple of leaders on there. We got a couple of leaders. Well, for those of you who believe in the adage that if you didn't come from a wealthy family, which most of us did, then it is your responsibility to make sure that a wealthy family comes from you. When you want to set your sights on the last 3 positions, and now they've added 3 more positions, that's gold, executive, presidential, and now they just added platinum, executive platinum, and presidential. And know those levels, ladies and gentlemen, now you're looking at $25,000 a week, $50,000 a week, and $75,000 a week now is the top of our comp plan, or $3.9 million if you max it out all 52 weeks. And because they've now opened up the floodgates where individuals now can earn not only a strong 6 figures, but now 7 figures, mark my words, by next year alone, there will be at least a dozen people that will be earning $1 million plus a year, and there will be several hundred individuals that will be making 6 figures and above. So all I can tell you guys, with all the enhancements and everything 7K Miller has put on the table, the best is yet to come. So you're probably wondering right now, how much does a program like this cost? How do I get my piece of the pie? And when the individuals start adding up all the benefits, the healthcare program, the savings program, getting bullion at member rate pricing, and some of the rarest coins on the planet, and now being able to make up to $75,000 a week, they say, you know what, a program like this, it's got to start at $1,000 to as much as $2,000. And you know what? So many people are pleasantly surprised when they found out you can be a part of what we're doing. We have 3 options. We call them good, better, and best. And you can be a part of what we're doing starting as little as $149 a year. Think about it. That's our basic program. I mean, even with that one, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to send you a silver coin. Also, you'll have limited access to all the benefits, but you can build a business and earn part-time, full-time, and life-changing income. But what if I need to get more of a pie, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to capitalize on all the benefits that Scott Zuckman talked about? Well, then you want to look at our VIP, and that's an annual $269 a year, not a month, a year. And that will come with a collectible coin that's retail about $120, but you'll get all the benefits Mr. Scott Zuckman talked about. You know, the stack and sell, the sound money wallet, the whole 9 yards. You get the instant gold paid up. And you can earn up to $75,000 a week. But last but not least, for those of you who believe that if I'm going to play the game, I need to have all the whistles and all the buttons. We have a legacy VIP package designed just for you for $599. It's not a year. It's not every other year. For $599 one time, you have access to the lifetime subscription to the country club version of 7K, because you're going to get everything we just talked about, ladies and gentlemen, but so much more. Not only are you going to save tens of thousands of dollars, because you never have to renew again. But one of the biggest perks, when we talked about getting paid in bullion, you can only do that from a legacy VIP. What do I mean by that? When individuals that you personally sign up, if you do the legacy VIP, anybody you sign up, no matter which package they sign up with, if they buy silver eagles, silver bars, gold eagles, or gold bars in that sound money wallet, guess who will get paid in that particular metal? So if they buy $10,000 worth of silver eagles, you're going to get paid in silver eagles. If they buy $100,000 worth of gold bars, guess who's getting paid in gold bars? Our company did the research, and they said if this would have been around for the last 3 years, that would have been over a dozen individuals that would have received at least $20,000 of gold and silver for free. That would have been over 400 individuals, myself included, that would have received at least $1,000 of gold and silver for free. Now, I love being able to buy gold and silver at a discount. But do me a favor, if you're like me, put a 3 in the chat if you believe there's nothing that beats getting gold and silver for free. All right, we got a few people on the same page. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, there's many other benefits that we don't have time to go into. But every time I share this information, without fail, now the ball is in your court, and all you have to do now is just simply make a decision. And I think Dr. Benjamin Mays said it best. He said, I only have a minute, and there's only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me. I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it, nor did I choose it. But you know what? It is up to me to use it. I'm going to suffer if I abuse it, give an account if I lose it. It's just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. Just make a decision, ladies and gentlemen. It's okay. Here's what I know to be true. No decision has always been a decision. Because every time I share this information, without fail, as far as coming on board and making that intelligent choice, individuals always fall into one of 3 categories. And yes, ma'am, yes, sir, you're on here today. Person number 1, say, you know what, I like what I hear. I'm really not to the networking thing you guys have been talking about, but I see what's going on in this economy. And I know I need to put some of my hard-earned cash in the physical gold and silver. I say, great. Get back with the person that invited you to the Zoom. Let them know you're number 1. I want to be a customer. I got 149. I got 269. And I'm ready to start stacking gold and silver from my own free website starting today. Person number 2, you're like thousands of our associates that say, you know what? I think it's cool to buy gold and silver. I think it's a beautiful thing to get collectible coins. But with real inflation being about 10%, and last I checked, they're not giving out 10% raises across the country. My household could use an extra $1,000 a month. You have no idea what kind of blessing it would be if an extra 2,000 showed up on a regular basis. I say, great. Get back with the person that invited you to the Zoom. Let them know you're number 2. You got 269, or better yet, you got 599, and you're ready to start stacking and making some money. But if you're like I was guy number 3. When I found out I could make up to now $75,000 a week, ladies and gentlemen, this became a no-brainer to me. You see, being a student of this industry, here is what I knew to be true. There are thousands of companies out there in the network marketing space. And you know what? They all make money, but they don't all necessarily make sense. But you know what has always made sense over the last 7.5 years? Having 100-ounce silver bars showing up in your mailbox. What about 1-ounce collectible gold coins worth about $3,800? Or better yet, what about getting coins you can't get anywhere else? One of my top 5 favorites, this is the Pearl Harbor coin, the USS Arizona. This is a 5-ounce silver coin. And if you've ever been to Pearl Harbor, this looks exactly like the ship that's still in that harbor. Now, that's only 1,177 of these coins in the world. If you go to Pearl Harbor now, you're going to see this coin, and that's actually a piece of the deck on every one of the coins. I paid $850 for the coin. I've seen it sell now for over $3,500. So to get coins that you can't get anywhere else, and also my favorite series now, that's the John F. Kennedy coin, ladies and gentlemen. You can't get it anywhere else. To have this stuff show up and to be able to make up to now $75,000 a week, that made sense to me. So do me a favor today. Put a 3 in the chat if the information you've heard today just makes sense. All right? I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but I want you to see some of the people that have already made it happen in 7K. You heard Miss Sally Murray early on did the introduction. That was at one of our leadership conferences. So we have tens of thousands of people that are enriching their lives. They're collecting assets. They're making money. They're having fun. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So that being said, here's what I want to do. We're going to open up the floor now for Q&A. And here's what I want you to understand. I don't expect you to grasp everything myself and Mr. Scott Zuckman shared over the last 45 minutes. I don't. But here's the truth of the matter. We've all made far more expensive decisions. We've all made far more critical decisions with a whole lot less information. Let me just show that to you. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever worked any kind of 9 to 5, and before they turn you loose, they put you through some type of orientation. I don't care if it was Jack in the Box, McDonald's. You know, they didn't just give you that uniform and give you a spatula and say start flipping. Okay. Also now, put a 3 in the chat if you didn't understand everything there was to know about that job after the first couple of hours, after those first couple of days. In my case, at the chemical plant, after a few months, I still didn't know what was going on. But here's what I know to be true about you. You at least hung around that job to learn enough to make a paycheck. And that's all we're asking you to do. We're going to break for a few minutes. We're going to show you how to make a paycheck. We're going to show you how we've helped thousands of people make at least $500 a month. We're going to show you how last year alone, we helped a couple hundred people make over $100,000 a year. So that being said, we're going to open up the floor now for Q&A. So if you're a guest on here today and you got maybe one question before getting started, just raise your hands. We'll allow you to unmute because we believe in being very transparent, dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's. I don't see any hands raised, but here's what I want you to understand before we break. For those that are looking at this for the first time, here's what I want you to understand. And I want to say this as humbly as I possibly can. Last year alone, 7K Metals did about $200 million in revenue without you being involved, okay? In the next 3 to 5 years, mark my words, 7K Metals will be $1 billion company, whether you decide to come on board or not. So the question, if you're a guest here today, here's the question you got to ask yourself. If not now, then when? If not this, then what? And if not you, then who? So this thing is going to be a household name over the next couple of years. And those that take action, like a Scott Zuckman, a Sally Mary, or Christine Meeker, to collect assets that they can pass on for generations and earn full-time and life-changing income, those are the ones that will have the great story, all because they decide to make a decision. So that being said, we're going to finish the presentation today, and we're going to break. I'm showing like 7 minutes to the top of the hour. And so what we're going to do now, we have about 46 people on here. So we're going to break for 7 minutes to the top of the hour. But I want you to reach out to your team members because we're going to go into some training. We just got a new compensation plan that went into place last Sunday. So we're going to go into some training from how can you get the most bang for the buck? How can you get to $5,000 a month? How can you get to $10,000 a month residual or recurring revenue? We're going to show you. So reach out to all your teammates and say, man, listen, if you want to learn how to make the money, the people that are making the most money, they're going to show you how to do that.
Thank you for watching, and thank you for your time. Have a good day, evening, or night.